Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Yes, Baku was finally finished last night and what a boring race it was. And let's have a look now at Toto Wolff, who has also come out to say what a boring race it was. Toto Wolff says Sunday's Azerbaijan Grand Prix was boring and Formula 1 needs to look at what to do about it. It was not a thriller, the Mercedes team principal said. No overtaking, even with a big pace difference, made it not great entertainment. Even if you are within 0.2 seconds, it's nearly impossible to overtake unless the other driver makes a mistake. However, Wolff stopped short of saying the new rules introduced in 2022 were at fault. After a race weekend like this, we mustn't talk it down overall and say it's the wrong direction and we need to change it completely, he said. It's more about asking why it wasn't entertaining and revisit it. We need to look at how we can avoid a boring race. Well, Toto says it isn't about the regulations. I say it's all about the regulations. I've been doing a little bit of a deep dive at the results from previous years. Let's have a look now and see what they are. So let's have a look at the Baku race from 2022, the race results here, and have a look and see what actually happened in that race. So as you can see, Max Verstappen won the race and Sergio Perez was 20 seconds behind him, which is pretty much the gap the Red Bulls had to the next car behind them in last night's race. And then George Russell finished 45 seconds behind in, of course, the Mercedes car. But let's go back a little bit more. Let's go back to 2021. And of course, these were still the old cars, don't forget, before the format changed. So let's have a look and see the race results from 2021. And as you can see here, Sergio Perez won the race. Sebastian Vettel was only 1.3 seconds behind. Pierre Gasly finished in third, 2.7, and Charles Leclerc finished in fourth in the Ferrari, 3.8 seconds behind the leader. So there's a clear gap there, a clear gap that didn't exist in 2021 that does exist now in 2023 and indeed in 2022 as well. And I think the main problem is this huge advantage the DRS is making at the moment. I mean, if you looked at the start of that race, Charles Leclerc should basically just have pulled over on that one and let Max go by, because it was absolutely obvious that as soon as lap 3 came in, the DRS was enabled, Max was going to storm past, and he did, and there was just no defence. Charles Leclerc had nothing, and this is a fundamental problem with these cars. Now, last year when these cars came out, we had the porpoising, so we really didn't know the performance levels of these cars because they were having all kinds of problems. We had the Mercedes problems, of course. Ferrari was having problems as well with the porpoising. So we really didn't know the performance levels of these cars and what they could actually do. Now we've gone forward a year to 2023. The porpoising has completely been forgotten about. There is no porpoising as far as I'm concerned in the cars at the moment. And that means that the true potential of these cars has come out. And it's clearly, you can see that Red Bull have a huge advantage over all the other cars. Now, of course, dominance in a sport is nothing unusual. It happens all the time, and it happens quite a lot in Formula 1 as well. But unfortunately, in past seasons when there has been dominance, like Michael Schumacher era, usually the number 2 driver hasn't really been up there to reinforce the number 1 driver. I mean, we've had Valtteri Bottas as a number 2 to Lewis Hamilton. He's, a very capable driver, but he's never been really up there with Lewis in a lot of the races when he was really dominant. We had the Michael Schumacher era, and of course his teammate was Rubens Barrichello, and Rubens was still a very capable driver, but he wasn't able to get up there a lot of the times to match Schumacher, even to get into second position in the race. So this is the problem now. You've got Red Bull, total dominance. If it's not Max winning, it's going to be Checo, and that's basically going to be it. And I think this trend could continue throughout the whole of the rest of this season, where either Max or Checo is going to win the races. Now, nothing against Red Bull. I have nothing against any of the teams, actually, but nothing against Red Bull. If that's the car they've built and they're winning races, what can you do? There's nothing you can do to stop that. But this dominance of being a 1-2 it's going to bring down the sport, and it's going to bring down the interest in the sport, because here's my prediction. I think that either Max or Checo, providing their cars don't give up, are going to win every single race for the rest of this season. Which means I'm pretty sure with 9 rounds still left of the championship to go, one of them will be world champion. And that's very, very bad for Formula One. Very, very bad indeed. It's bad for the audience. It's bad for the, everyone involved in the sport. Now, I do remember, I think it was last year, some of the commentators, I think it was on Channel 4, saying about these regulations and saying, oh, well, yeah, it's done loads to help the sport. No, it hasn't. It's actually impeding the sport because you've got total dominance of the Red Bulls and there's just nothing now. All we're watching the races now is to see who's going to finish 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. We're just completely forgotten about the Red Bulls because there's no other car can touch them. And this is the fundamental problem. Now let's go back a little bit more into our time machine of the Baku races. We'll look at 2020. Well, we would look at 2020, but unfortunately due to COVID, that race was cancelled. So we have to go down to Baku for 2019 now. The winner of that was Valtteri Bottas. And as you can see, here's the gap. Lewis Hamilton only 1.5 seconds behind. Sebastian Vettel then in 3rd position finished 11.7 behind. So clearly there has been a change with these new regulations in the speed of the cars and everything. And, it was brought in to allow easier overtaking. Yeah, it has brought in easier overtake, but it's too bloody easy now. In my opinion, I think the DRS should be banned. I was really excited for 2022 because they said that they were getting rid of DRS. And then they changed their mind and they brought DRS in. And you can see that in 2022, the design of the car, the DRS was brought in as an afterthought because those rear wings really didn't suit DRS. You could see that they weren't made for a DRS system and yet they still brought it in. I just think they got scared. They just did some runs in those cars, possibly on a test circuit somewhere. They got scared because there wasn't really any chance of overtaking. So they implemented the DRS system back in. And I think that was a fundamental error. DRS should be removed from Formula 1 now. These cars were designed so you didn't need to use DRS. They were designed from the ground up, ground effect cars, so you didn't need to use DRS as an artificial way of overtaking. If there was no DRS, that race would have been far more exciting at Baku because Max Verstappen would have had to have fought his way past Charles Leclerc. Back in the old days when you actually had to fight past a car instead of just using a DRS extra bit of wing boost to get past. Do you remember those days? Yeah. But no, the DRS is just absolutely spoiling Formula 1 right now. It really is. I'll tell you what else is spoiling Formula 1 as well, and that's the hard tyres. It's just the go-to safety option now for all the teams. If anything happens, it's just, I'll just go on the hards to the end of the race. And everyone's just caught in that mindset now, and that was it. I was actually enjoying the race up to about lap 14. There was some exciting battles going on midfield, and it looked pretty decent. Then lap 14 comes along, safety car, in they come, all on the hard tyres, and then they ran all the way to the end. Well, most of them did. A couple did that to come in, unfortunately, but most of them just run all the way to the end. I think there should be in Formula 1 now a mandatory 2-stop. There should be a mandatory 2-stop because it's ridiculous on a 100% race that you're only stopping once. It's pointless, absolutely pointless. There should be a 2-stop mandatory at least. Now, in that race last night, if they'd have had a 2-stop strategy, then they would have come in about lap 35, lap 40 with like 11 laps left of the race. Now Max Verstappen, he could have gained even gained a second in the pit stop over Checo, and then it could have been a right old fight for the flag at the last 11 laps. But of course it wasn't on because went on hard tyres and it was game over. Absolute game over. Now, of course, a lot of people were saying that the safety car actually screwed Max. I don't believe the safety car did screw Max because he was dropping back despite the safety car, holding him up a little bit. He was dropping back behind Checo, so I don't think that made any difference to the safety car, to be honest. So Max, I don't know what people are moaning about. Checo deserved that win. He really did because he was actually pulling away from Max. And you know why he was pulling away? Because Max couldn't get 1 second behind him and get the DRS. There you go. Like the old days in Formula 1. But anyway, so yeah, it ended up as a complete bore fest after about lap 14, which I was really disappointed about because, as I say, for those first 14 laps, it was I was really into it. I really was. But then, no, hard tyres went on and it was just game over once again. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought of the Baku Grand Prix. Do you think that I am right? Do you think that DRS needs to be banned now from there's nothing else they can do? This can be done easily, but they can't do anything else to the cars now because the cars are set. Well, they're going to be set for years and years now. I can't see the design changing of these cars now for at least another maybe 5 or 6 years. Maybe 2026 they might be able to redesign them when the new engine regulations come in, but I can't see it, to be honest. So yeah, the one thing they can do though is ban DRS. We don't need it. It is spoiling the races. It really is. It's spoiling the races. Get rid of it. We don't need it. Anyway, so that was the exciting Grand Prix. And just to finish off, yes, EA Sports with their latest F1 game have decided to troll us because their reveal trailer was supposed to have been out today on the 1st of May, and now it's not going to be out until the 3rd of May. You can clearly see there it says premieres in 42 hours, and people in the comments are not very happy about this. Lars Koch says biggest L. Hang on, let me get my camera out of the way so you can see that comment. Move myself over there into the top left. Okay, so Lars Koch says biggest L of the year. Bro, forgot to create a new game. Copy and paste F1 22. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. There was a comment here I did like. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Here it is. From Hyper. Well done, sir. Well done. He says, lol, no. At least the game has red flags, better handling, and F1 World, whatever that thing will be. Can't wait to fly in my private jet while customising the new sofa so that it's something to look forward to. Bro, why not today? Thanks for the scam, EA, says F1 Champion. And yeah, people are not happy. Congrats, EA. This is the worst reveal process you've ever had. We expected so little and we're still let down. Now EA is becoming more of a meme with its reveals than Ferrari strategies. I've been waiting for this trailer so long. Definitely not the FIA, says can't even get a release date right. Great job, guys. Great job indeed. Samuel Borg says, and they said 1st of May. They did. Let's have a look and see what the replies say. Yes. But GeoGamer pointed this out, and he is actually correct. No, they said F1 23's reveal gets underway on May the 1st. That means starting the 1st of May. So they did pull a little bit of trolling on us here because everyone got excited thinking there was going to be a reveal on the 1st. No, it's starting to. And I think all they've done is they've released a picture of the Champions Edition version of F1 23, which of course is always the one that's more expensive to buy. I think they've released that today, but that's it. So a little bit of trolling there from EA. Well done. And then he says still misleading though to the majority of fans. Yes, it is probably very misleading, but that's EA Sports for you. We won't go into that, will we? Can't wait to see F1 22 rebadged as F1 23. Hard pass, says Mr. Derek F. So yeah, as you can see in the comments, everyone's not very happy. As expected, says Matteo Janus Os. Can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. As expected, very good EA. Ben says, love a good teaser of a reveal of a reveal. You try saying that when you've had a few pints. Love a good teaser of a reveal of a reveal. Yes, thank you very much. So there you go. Fantastic. EA Sports living up to their reputation of being not very good. And there it is. Anyway, in 42 hours time, there will be some kind of reveal of F1 23. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome as always. And as always, I'll catch you in the next video.